Good evening, good people. It's your boy, Leroy McKenzie Jr. I told y'all, I told y'all, the grind includes Saturday. So here we are on Saturday, grinding as we do. It's another episode of the Authors Showcase, brought to you by the National Black Community Wing and JNF Enterprises, where we bring you national and international authors that have a mission, a message, motivation, and a movement. And we are here to give them a platform to be able to talk about and discuss that great thing. I just call it having conversations with authors, to be able to show you that there are some phenomenal, great writers, there's some phenomenal, great people. And this showcase gives you the ability to be able to see the backstage insights into who these authors are. And tonight is no different. Or this early evening. I don't know if it's night. It's not night yet. The sun, I think, is just going down. But I think it's still early out there for Mr. Diggs
Yeah, it
over
is.
there.
Yeah,
It's still early afternoon
just
for
past
them.
lunchtime. Just
He's on
past
the
lunchtime.
left. He's on the left coast, so he's a couple of hours behind us here on the East Coast. He's out there in that sunshine.
Yeah.
But today he said in sunshine is he said today.
No, not at all.
Isn't that what Frankie Beverly said? Joy and pain,
Yeah,
sunshine and rain,
sunshine and rain. So we on the rain part of it today here in
sunshine
California.
and rain. Exactly, exactly. So I want to introduce everyone to this brother that I'm going to be having a conversation with, and I'm going to allow him to be able to talk or tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll get into our conversation. That we're going to be talking about not just his book, but being an author. We're going to be talking about the different dynamics of having to be encouraged, and I'll get that in a minute. But what we're doing, and then hopefully we'll give you some tools and some lessons that you'll be able to take away from here and be able to use in your everyday life. In 2021, so in January of 2021. So we want to make sure that you have a head start in making your 2021
Okay.
as successful as possible. So I want to introduce everybody to Brother Dwayne Shigg. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about who he is, his background, and his history, and then we'll get into our conversation.
Appreciate it, Brother McKenzie. Thank you so much for the platform and for the opportunity that you give to myself and other authors. So just want to say thank you. My grandfather always said people don't have to be nice, and when they are, people don't have to do anything. So when they are doing something great, you ought to say thank you. So I'm going to say thank you to you. I'm Dwayne Shigg. I'm just an average 61-year-old guy from that lives in Compton, California, trying to make a difference. I tell people I'm Cheryl's husband, Marcus's father, Crystal, Amaya, Maxie, and Malcolm's pawpaw, and just a regular guy trying to make a difference, pushing people, helping people, and living out my dream. It's a great thing when you can accomplish your dreams and go after them. And so didn't always know this is what I was supposed to do, meant to do. I've always done things like this, pushing people, but didn't know it was what I was supposed to do. So that's who I am, just an average guy. I like old school music. I tell people I don't listen to no music that came out after 1983. I love old music, old school music, and my favorite singers are the greatest group in the history of recorded music, the Temptations and Mr. David Eli Ruffin, including him in that as a group and as a solo artist. So that's who I am, a writer, teacher, speaker, and an encourager. I push people. That's what I do.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And people need to be encouraged, especially in this day and time. So
Yes.
I love that. I love that you are an encourager to people. So let's get started, and I'll start the conversation by asking you this. What got you started in writing? What made you say, well, I think I have something to say, and then I want to put what I have to say into a book?
Originally, the very first thing that I ever wrote was just this small pamphlet here. It's called Praise Ye the Lord. That's the
Mm,
very thing I wrote. 7 pages, nothing of any real significance. It was really on a whim. Just did it, see what I could do, making a difference, contributing something, but just doing it on a whim, just decided to do it. And so I didn't have any background in journalism or anything of that nature. In my junior high school, I'm dating myself because they don't call it junior high school anymore. In my junior high school, I had print shop and we had a school paper and I
mm,
worked on that. And I remember one of the first things that I ever wrote, I wrote a review of a concert, a Stevie Wonder concert.
oh,
And
wow.
remember the line. I mean, at 13 years old, I thought this was, something. And the headline was Stevie Just Wonderful. Now that's kind of corny, but to a 13-year-old, I thought I was doing
It's
something. You know what I'm saying? I came up with this all by
it's
myself at
good.
13 years old. And so that being, a background, but not really writing anything of any significance till I wrote this, the pamphlet, and just liked it, and then moved on from there, having something significant to say and being able to get it out in a way. And this is way before digital media. I mean, social media. So there was no Facebook and nothing like that. So to get it out to people in a mass way, you were to write. And so it was done. It was started on a whim, but I continued it because having had something to say and wanting to connect with people, wanting to reach people.
Wow, wow, that's all. That's awesome. So that was how you got started. But I'd like to. What now? What was it that made you want to write your book? This book that we have here, the encouragement for tough times. What was it that sparked you to go to write this book?
Well, this book evolved out of my motivational videos that I do. I was doing a motivational video at that time 2-3 times a week, and just doing things to encourage people. And specifically at that time, it was entrepreneurs, authors, people that have a dream to do, a goal to get, some success to seize. It was geared toward them. But then COVID hit.
Mm,
And so a lot of different things changed then, and then people were in trouble. And, not just entrepreneurs wanting to accomplish something, but quote unquote regular everyday people, because their jobs were affected, their finances were affected, homes were affected, and so wanted to do something to encourage people that they could make it even in this tough times, even under these COVID conditions and pandemic positions we find ourselves in. And so the videos began to evolve to include everybody, and be videos of encouragements for tough times. And my name, a logo, EncourageMINTS. I get people to ask me, about that all the time, and I tell them that, sometimes people need a breath mint, sometimes they need an encouragement. One is for your mouth, and the other is for your mind. It gives you breath mint, gives you freshness. So an encouragement can give you a fresh outlook. And so because of the difficulties that people were having, I wanted to focus on that and deal with that, and also recognizing that COVID brought some tough times, but there are people that are having issues in their life that have nothing to do with COVID.
mhm.
They still have relational issues, financial issues, personal issues. And so they were all tough times. And so I wanted to say something to help people in regular situations, regular everyday people. And so this book evolved out of those motivational videos, and included it was my desire was to include everybody that had difficulties. tough times, as Marvin Gaye said in his song, bad breaks and setbacks, so, and that includes everybody. If you're not dealing with it now, as the old people say, just keep on living and you will be able to deal with it. So I wanted to give people some practical information and inspiration. It's kind of like CPR. I tell people the best time to learn CPR is before you need it. So this was an opportunity to give some people CPR that didn't need it yet, and also some practical information and inspiration for people who are in a rough time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, is this your for those that may not be familiar, or is this your first book, or do you have other books that you?
Oh, no, this is number 15.
Wow.
But it's number 15, and I'm proud of that. But the first 9 or 10, I didn't know what I was doing. And so now I have better covers and better things like that, and now it just looks like I know what I'm doing.
Well, I want to go with that. Talk about Dwayne Shigg that wrote his first book, and Dwayne Shigg that has written his 15th book. What has been the lessons in between those books?
The lesson is slow down, because I had one book that I did and I was impatient, and it was published with a whole bunch of mistakes. I'm not talking about just 1 or 2. And so the lesson is, one, slow down, but the lesson also is that this is something real. It's not a fantasy. It's not something that will that you have to, I wonder if I can do this. No, I can do this. And so things have gotten better in terms of the writing, in terms of the cover, in terms of the most important part, and this, the promotion and marketing, because, you finish writing 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever the case may be. And I like the way you started. You said that, the grind happens on Saturday too, so marketing never stops. I tell people that I've sold books in the barbershop. Matter of fact, I sold one in the barbershop today. Barbershop, at the burger stand, because, the grind doesn't stop. And so, and as it relates to marketing and promotion, that's gotten better. And my confidence has gotten a little bit better, because when I first started, as I said, didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have there was a compunction or a push in me to do it, but I really didn't know all the ins and out of what to do. And so that's gotten better, and touching base with other people, and understanding that, you can't do this by yourself. And so that's a real good lesson for me, because I have an issue with asking people for help. I don't like to be in debt to people, and it's just something weird in here. I'm getting better, but because you can't do anything great by yourself.
Absolutely.
So I'm getting better at that. So, learning to do that, learning to ask people for help, learning that there are a lot of things that I can do well, but there's some things that I can't do well. Well, let me check that. There are a few things that I do well. I write, I can communicate, I can encourage people. But the other things, I can do it, but it's not at a 10. So let me find somebody that does it at a 10 and ask them, hire them. And that's what we have to do. And so that's one of the main difference between Dwayne Shigg with this and Dwayne Shigg with this one right here. And so those are the major differences: the education, the confidence, and the understanding of, you can't do this by yourself. And it's bigger than just what I wrote in the book, meaning touching people's lives. Actually, like what you do, Brother McKenzie, you actually make a difference in people's lives. And so that's one of the biggest things. I remember the first time I got an email from somebody in England, blew me away. Blew me away. You mean to tell me something I said helped somebody in England? I know some people in Inglewood, California, but England? And so the reach, those are the things that have changed, and the idea of you can affect people, not from a egotistical perspective, but from a servant perspective. You know, you can make a difference in people's lives that you may never see. You know, so those are the differences between the first pamphlet and then book number 15 and the two books that are on my computer that I haven't published yet.
Absolutely. Now here's something that's going to make you dig a little deeper. What has writing those 15 books taught you about you?
What have they taught me about me? They taught me about, well, as I said, one of the things about having being able to ask people for help,
Mm.
you know, overcoming that, and taught me that I need to be able to let people do what they do and I do what I do. And taught me that I grew up with low self-esteem and insecurities, self-esteem issues. Still have some. Most people that know me don't believe this, but I'm pretty much an introvert, you know. And that's kind of oxymoronic. How are you going to be an introvert? You're called to preach. I've pastored 2 churches and, you know, developing a motivational speaking career, but you're an introvert. They don't make that's schizophrenic, man. In my personal life, I could stay at home and just watch cowboy movies all day, or as my daddy called them, shoot 'em ups. Personally, Dwayne could do that, but Dr. Shigg, Pastor Shigg, Reverend Shigg can't do that. And so learned I had to get out of myself, that all of this is much bigger than me. It really doesn't have anything to do with me. So it's taught me that it's bigger than I am, and how you feel about going places, doing things is irrelevant, because it's not about you. It's about helping somebody. It's about making a difference. And so it's taught me those things, to have a bigger view. It's taught me that I can do some things, because as I said, with the insecurities, a lot of things I couldn't do in my mind, and all those things. But it taught me from a confidence perspective, not cocky perspective, that yes, you can do this. You can do this. You can go for it. You can write that book. And I wrote a book called Others Have Become Successful and You Can Too. And I had to look at myself in that perspective. And so want to let people know that you can do it too. And so it taught me that I can overcome some things. I can accomplish some things. I can reach some people. And yes, I really can do this. And so it's taught me those things about myself.
Now, with your 15 books, were your books all one particular genre? Did you have all nonfiction, or did they include like a mixture of fiction, nonfiction, or a particular genre even within the non?
All but 2 of them, they're primarily motivational, encouragement books. But 2 of them, one of the books that I wrote was a book called, and I'm rewriting that right now, it's a marriage book. It's called Some Things to Know About Marriage Before You Have a Wedding. And so I'm rewriting and revamping it. The new title is You're Ready for the Wedding, but Are You Prepared to Be Married?
Oh, I like that. And that's definitely needed in this day and time.
Oh, definitely. So that one. And then I wrote a book for ministers. It's called How to Be a Good Preacher. Some basic teachings for ministers, follow directions, how to prepare a sermon, support your pastor. As I said, follow directions. When they tell you to pray, shut up and sit down. And so, but all the other ones have been encouragement books, motivational books. I guess they would fit under the category of self-help.
Okay.
That's primarily my focus, teaching and encouraging. I'm a teacher primarily. And so even when I'm encouraging, I do it in a teacheristic sort of way, if you will. And so that's what the books are primarily.
Oh, great. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what the EncourageMINT book is about. Getting through tough times. Give us a little overview of what that book covers.
Well, this book speaks to regular daily situations that people go through, but it gives people some practical information to do. It talks about some of my struggles. It talks about some of the things that uh, we can deal with. For example, there's a chapter in there called "I Can't Sing."
Ooh.
And there's a section there called "I Can't Sing." Basically, what that deals with, it helps people to recognize that when we get into trouble, when we have difficult times, one of the first things that happens is we start thinking about what we cannot do.
Mhm.
I can't go to work. I can't write the book. I can't. I've experienced it. I'm quite sure you have. Some conferences you can't do. So we camp in our can'tness, if you will.
Mm.
And so that section is to help people see that let's focus on what we can do. I can't sing, but I can encourage people. I can write. I can do some other things. And although, my singing won't turn any chairs on the voice, but my wife likes it, and that's all that matters. So every now and then I break out David Ruffin or Lenny Williams through my voice, and it don't sound like nothing like them, but my wife likes it. Not because it sounds good, but after 40 years, she's still in love with me. So,
Right.
so,
Absolutely. I love it.
helping people to see what we can't do. So helping the people to not focus on just what we can't do, but what we can do. And so practical information like that, and to help us to be able to make it through. During this time, there's a lot of loss of life, loss of
Right.
finances. And then there's a section in there called living after a loss. So I try to be as practical as I can. And each of us have made errors. Some of the tough times that we're in are not because of the economy, not because the devil's after us. Some of the tough times we're in is because I messed up.
Mm.
It ain't nobody's fault but you. Flip Wilson used to say, I'm dating myself. Flip Wilson, the comedian, used to say, the devil made me do it. The devil didn't make you do it. You just decided that's what you wanted to do and you messed up. But wanting us to know that we can move up past our mess up. And so we talk about that. And so the book will help you realize in a practical way that, yes, we can get through this, the COVID, your own personal issues, and you can still make it through. There's a chapter in there called "I'm Still Going to Make It." So after all of the stuff that happens, whatever your stuff is, and the guy, the cover, the Greek god, I think is Sisyphus, after all, pushing that rock up the hill for eternity, for some of us, it seems like what we're dealing with is going to last a long time.
Mm.
But the book helps you see that you can make it. It's practical, it's real. And I don't like to give people just rah, inspiration without, okay, you get people excited, you get them all up. Okay, what am I going to do when I come down? I'm jumping up and excited, but eventually I'm going to have to come down, and I'm going to have to leave this conference and go back to my tough time. How do I deal with the tough times? And so the book is to help people understand that you're tough too. In the introduction, I talk about when I was a kid, there were some jeans called tough jeans. Mm-hmm. And tough jeans were extra padded, and they were meant to help people with, for when you played and different things of that nature. Now, tough jeans didn't stop you from falling down, but they helped you not to stay down. And so, me and my brothers, I had 3 brothers, and so we needed tough jeans because we would go to this place. I don't know if it's still open now, but we would go to this place called Outside. My mother would send us, and we would go. I don't know if it's still open now because a lot of people don't go. We would go to this place called Outside, and it was free. And we did this thing that, again, I don't know if people do it now. We did this thing called play. We went outside to play. You find 2 sticks and you play sword fight men, or you play street football where the blue Camaro was the first down and Mr. Johnson's house was touchdown. And so we had tough jeans for those things. But the book is intended to help us see, not only do we have tough jeans, JEANS, that we have on us, but we have some tough jeans, GENES, that we have in us. And we need tough genes so we can go outside and play, write our book, go outside and play, accomplish our goals, go outside and play and be a better person. So for that, we need tough genes because, like I said, tough genes won't keep you from falling down, but they'll help you get back up. And that's what the book does. It gives you an understanding of your tough genes, GENES, and helps you get back up.
Absolutely. Now, is that the message that you want the reader to come away with, where after they've read that last word, after they've gone through encouragements, is that what you want them to come away with? Or what is it that you want them to come away with? Feeling, knowing, and being able to understand after they've read it.
Understanding and knowing that I can get through this. The focus is that I can make it through this. Yes, it's happening. We're not going to act like it's not happening. It's happening. And as long as you're alive, as long as you're working on something, as long as you're trying to do something, stuff is going to happen. But the message is that you can get through it. And not just, again, not this, you can get through it, but here are some steps that you can take. And I'm not speaking necessarily theoretic. I'm speaking things that I've experienced, things that I've seen. You can get through this. And these are some steps, some principles that I found, some exercises that I found work. And principles work no matter who you are. Because the principle of gravity, if you jump out the window with a PhD, you're going to fall just like somebody with a GED. Because principles don't care who you are. So these are things, truths that I found that will work for you. So as we're going through this, to get to a point where we're not complaining about it, the gospel song, I've had some good days, I've had some hills to climb, but the result of that says, but I won't complain. Mm-hmm. And so there's a section that I'm not going to complain, but talking about, okay, what can I do? So the message is, you can do this. The message is, it takes work, but it's worth it. And so that's the takeaway. And the takeaway is not just that, somebody has done. Sometimes we see people that do things and, okay, Magic Johnson, a great basketball player, but he's 6'9". I'm not 6'9". So, but some of the other things, you can be successful in your lane just like he is. You can be productive in your lane. Okay, you don't sing like David Ruffin. You don't sing like Mary J. But Mary J. can't cook peach cobbler like you. She can't make greens like you. She can't organize like you. And so that's what I want the people to come away with, that whatever your it is, whatever your thing is, you do it. There's an old song by a group called BT Express and says, do it till you're satisfied. And so that's what I want people to come away with, that. And in business, in ministry, and this, if you have a gift, talent, skill, or ability that can do one of four things, you'll be all right. It can solve a problem, answer a question, meet a need, or satisfy a want. And help people see that even in these difficult times, even in your tough times, want you to come away with the fact that it's tough. But if I use my gift, talent, skill, and ability to do one of those four things, I'm still going to be okay, even in tough times. Because I drive around and I see people are still building apartment buildings. They're still doing construction. People are still playing basketball. People are still making money. People are still overcoming. And so just because it's a tough time doesn't mean I'm going to stop and, give in. I'm not going to do that. So the takeaway is you can do it. The takeaway is that you can make it. And here are some things that will work so that you can get through it. There's a section in there called habits that make things happen. So your habits will make things happen, make them come to pass right regularly. I'm working on my health right now. So, one salad is not going to get rid of this. Eating broccoli one time instead of a brownie, not going to get rid of it. But you have the habit of eating salads regularly, the habit of walking regularly. And I think it's been a while. I like blueberry muffins. But a couple of days ago was the first time I had a blueberry muffin in 8 months, because I decided I'm not going to do that,
Mhm.
and I've lost 13 pounds. And so for me, well, I gained 2 of them back over the holiday, in all truthfulness, but that doesn't count. It was a holiday. And so, but the takeaway is that you can do it. The takeaway is that it will work. And here are some ways that you can do that. And just to encourage people, to give them a real encouragement that they can do this, and something that they can use, something that they can work with, not just philosophical stuff, not just inspirational innuendos, but some real things that you can really do that can help you smile, help you have a better attitude, help you have the idea that you can be like the Jeffersons and move on up. There's an old song by Curtis Mayfield says that move on up to your destination. You might find from time to time complications, but move on up. And so I told you I was an old school person. So
I know that, and I love those the music that you're referencing are all music that I grew up on. So
yeah, yes,
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I want you mentioned something, and I want people to understand that, because a lot of people think that this thing of accomplishing whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in life, it happens without having to do the work.
oh
A
no,
lot of people have a misperception, whether it's an entrepreneur going into business, whether it's someone that is trying to encourage themselves or even be encouraged, that it does take doing the work. And like you mentioned, which I think it's something which you mentioned is very key, that it not only takes work, you have to do the work, but I say it like this: your habits become your lifestyle.
right,
Your habits become your lifestyle. How you go from, if you're trying to lose weight, like you were saying, diets may assist you in being able to lose the weight, but the diet, you don't continue once you get down to that weight that you want to get down to.
exactly,
What do you do then?
right,
You have to have a mindset shift. You have to have a shifting of the way that you carry yourself with things, like you said, something as simple as, like you said, you love blueberry muffins, but you knew, hey, that was something that I knew I was going to have to cut back on if I wanted to be able to get healthy. So
right,
yeah, so instead of having a dozen of them, I may have like a half a dozen, or I may have one or two, which which is, as a part of that, as you started to do that more and more to cut back on them, you found that, hey, I don't need all of the blueberry muffins all the time. I
right.
can have them, and a from time to time, and when I regulate it, then I'm actually helping myself. Can you talk a little bit about, um, on the encouragement side, how you have to get your mindset going in that direction before anything else can happen with
You definitely have to. You have to have the right frame of mind so that
you?
you can. Zig Ziglar would always say, you have to be before you can do, and you have to do
Mm,
so you can have.
mm,
So you have to do so you can have, but before you do, you have to be of a frame of mind that I can do this. Be a person that will do these things, and the work is difficult, but it's worth it.
mm-hmm.
And so, as you were saying, this is not going to happen just mechanically, just because you have an idea for a book. Okay, this would be a good book to encourage people. If it just stays there, nobody can read inside your head. There's no
Right.
page 3, page 4, page 5 in my mind. And so people can't read it there. You've got to work, you've got to type, you've got to mess up, you've got to send it to the editor, you've got to get it back, you've got to rewrite, you've got to change the word, and then you've got to format it. You've got to decide the cover. That's not the right cover. I'm going to send this one in. Oh, but it wasn't the right size, so I got to get that back. All of those things, and then find out, okay, you didn't format it right if you did it yourself.
Mm,
So all of that is work. And that's what's going to cause it to go from here to, what we see over my shoulder.
mm,
That's work. And so with a book, with a business, with a relationship, I told you about the book
mm,
I wrote about marriage.
Mhm.
That's work,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. You don't just, sometimes you talk to people and they talk about why you get married. I'm in love. That's fine, be in love, but when you finish being in love, somebody got to take the trash out. You know, somebody got to pay the light bill. I'm in love, but I'd rather be in love in the light instead of in love in the dark. You know, I'd rather be in love with some heat. you know, so it takes work to understand one another in the marriage, work to change, to grow. I tell people, when you first get married, when I first got married 39 years ago, getting married doesn't make you a husband, it makes you a groom. You got to grow, you got to learn to be a husband. And so it takes work relationally, financially. You got to save money. Okay, putting away $20 one time, that's not really do a whole lot for you. But if you do it every week, if you do it, you know, so the habits, as you were talking about, the habits will give you a better mindset. As I was saying, there's a section there called habits that make things happen. I start my day every day with the same habits. I start my day, wake up with a word of prayer. Thank you, Jesus, for letting me see another day. Lead me, guide me, direct me. And then I go to what I call my affirmations every day. Some things that I'm going to do, things, in the future I want to do. I'm going to finish this book. I'm going to have better health, or whatever the case may be. And then what I call confirmations. Today, I'm going to do something that's going to make me better. I'm going to do something that's going to make my life better, my house better, my marriage better, whatever the case may be. So those are habits that I do every day. And so those habits, saying them, pushes me into doing them. So that by the time I finish, whatever the time frame is for, what I wanted to do, I'll have it done. But it has to be something that's done habitually. The work has to be put in, but you have to have the mindset that I'm going to do the work and not doing the work negatively. Have you ever been around a person that they're doing the work, but they're complaining say, I got to move this. I've got to pick this up. I've got to shut up. I've got to do this. Yes, if you want the book, you've got to do this. Yes, if you want better health, you've got to do this. Yes, if you want to be 65 or whatever the case may be, and being able to get around, not hooked up to some machine. Yes, you have to do this. You want the house to be better. You want the business to be better. You want to have some money when you retire. Yes, take $50 every paycheck and put it away. Don't touch it, or whatever the number is. You want to pay off your house faster. Add $100, $200, whatever you can afford to your regular note. Habitually, doing that one time is not going to make that much difference. It takes work. And that's the thing that people, need to understand. Even the encouraging yourself is actually work, because you have to tell yourself, I can do this. You see all the negativity on the news, and if you just watch that, you think the world's going to end tomorrow and everybody's dying of COVID. When the facts are 97% of the people that get COVID survive. And so those people that, are in that 3%, that's unfortunate, but if you don't have good health, like some of those people, I can do some work to make myself better so I won't fall into that 3%. I need to do the work that, even though the shutdown, the lockdown has, taken away some people's jobs, messed up people's jobs, can't do book signings anymore, can't do certain things. Okay, it's going to take some work to get through this. So what can I do that's going to help me, or what can I do to help somebody else? But the key thing is that, it's going to take work. It doesn't just come abracadabra. It doesn't just come osmosis. It doesn't come because you pray. It doesn't come because who your mama is. It doesn't come because you so fine. You fine, but you still broke. You fine, but you still don't have a book. You fine, but you still unhealthy. So be fine and eat an apple. Be fine and drink some water, or whatever the case may be. Be fine and write 40 minutes every day, or read a chapter every day. That's the work. And that's the thing we got to get to. It's going to take work. But you can do it, but it's going to take work.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. When I say, what does encouragement for tough times mean to you?
a practical, I use it, I've said the word practical a lot, practical and processive. There's a chapter in the book called Appreciate the Process. Encouragements for Tough Times, to me, says that the tough times exist, but I can do something to get through it. I can do something to handle myself while I'm in it. A lot of times we talk about getting through. You can get through, but until you come through, you're still in. So what do I need to do while I'm in to make sure I can and will come out? And so encouragements are those phrases, those principles, those chapters, those things that gives me a sense of, just like a real mint, a breath mint, a sense of freshness, so I can have a fresh attitude. I can do those things. Encouragement is a chapter. It's some principles. It's we have at the beginning of each chapter, there's an encouragement quote. One of the first ones, it says, "Don't let problems and pests quench your quest to secure your success." So that's an encouragement quote. So encouragements are those stories, truths, principles, quotes that I can pop in and get refreshed and write another 30 minutes and go around the track one more time and look for another job and make another sales pitch and discover what I can do in these times that'll help me get through. So those are encouragements, because the tough times are going to be there. So the encouragements that will freshen your breath. You ate dinner, you ate the taco, you ate the onions. If you don't brush your teeth, you need to do something, because, you know, breath's going to be humming. So you pop in a breath mint so that you can continue. I pop in an encouragement so I can continue.
Absolutely. Now we just came out of 2020. 2020 has been a monumental and a tough year for all of us. It's touched us in some kind of way. What would you say? What are your 3 keys to someone staying encouraged when things are going not going in their favor, and they've had a tough 2020? Business goes down. The writer or the author is not able to go to those in-person events now. That person had a rough 2020. What would you say are 3 keys to them being and staying encouraged through all of that going into 2021?
Well, one of the things I would tell them, okay, this is 2021. So if you're still here in 2021, that means you made it. So first of all, you have a chance to do something else. You have a chance to write again. You have a chance to look for another job. You have a chance to exercise again. So the first thing is recognize that you're still in the game. Not only that, I tell people that you have to recognize that, okay, I'm still in the game, but this is not the first time you've been in trouble. This is not the first time something bad happened. So the last time something bad happened, what did you do to get through that? Well, do that to get through this. And have, as we talked about earlier, you've got to have the right attitude, what I call an attitude of ascension. Your mind frame has to be, I'm going up. I'm going to make it. I'm going to do the things that will help me think better. I'm going to read the right books. I'm going to watch the right videos. I'm going to talk to the right people, because some people are so negative. You know, I'm going to use the right words, and words have power. The book I use to run my life has a principle that says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall live by the fruit thereof. So realize that you made it through. Understand that you have to have the right attitude, and then go do it. You got to do something. Action. You've got to have some action that's going to put you one step ahead. It may take you a while to finish that mile. Somebody else finished before you, but this is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Mm.
So I'm going to say to you, do something. Start. People ask all the time, and I'm quite sure you get this. I want to write a book. What do I need to do? You need to start writing. That's what you need to do. You need to start writing. You get a pen and a paper, you get your computer, start writing. I'm writing this story about how I was 10 years old, and you need to start writing. I want to be healthy. Okay, what do I need to do? You need to eat some broccoli instead of a brownie. That's what you need to do. So the action. And sometimes people they want to do the big thing.
Right.
Just do one thing. Just get started. Just write one chapter. Just walk one block. Just make one phone call, one sales pitch. But you got to do something. And my Aunt Elise, shout out to my Aunt Elise and Uncle Scuffy, and my wife Cheryl. My Aunt Elise always says, you may not be able to do some things, as I said earlier, but you can always do something. So what is your something that you can do? Yes, 2020 was rough, but you can do something now. Yes, you lost your job. Yes, COVID happened and you can't write and you can't, have any book signings. You can't do some of the things that you used to do. Okay, well, what can I do? So do that. I'm going to write today. Okay, you're a good organizer. I'm going to help somebody organize their closet. Okay, you worked at the hospital and or at the hotel, and now they laid you off, but you made beds better than anybody else. Okay, somebody needs their house cleaned, and there's no shame in that. Somebody needs their grass cut. Somebody needs dinner cooked because they're busy, or whatever the case may be. You were an English teacher and school is not in right now. Well, people like me need somebody to edit their book because, I don't know the punctuation, the semicolons, the colons, all of that. Some people like me need that and will pay somebody like you to do it. So do something. I wrote a book. Let me find it. I wrote a book years ago, and that's the name of the book. Do something. You got to do something. What you gonna do? So I would encourage you to do something. I would encourage you to have an attitude of ascension. And I would encourage you to remember that you made it. So you still got a chance.
Absolutely. I love that. Now, what advice would you give to an aspiring author? What would you give? What advice would you give to them?
Said I would advise them to start writing, because sometimes we keep saying I'm gonna. We sound like Keith Sweat. I wanna. I would advise people start, and I would advise them to stop making excuses. Well, I don't know what the cover is gonna be like. You don't need that to write. Well, I don't know. I'm not good at punctuation. You don't have to be. Because there's a quote that I read that says, you can't edit a blank page. So you've got to do something. So start and then stop making excuses. I don't have the money. You don't need money to write a book. You need money to publish it, but you don't need money to write it. And so you can get those things. In my book, Go Get It, there's a chapter called When the Dream is Big Enough, the Facts Don't Matter. So I want to write this book. I don't have any money right now. But when I finish writing, I can figure out a way to get it. So stop making excuses, and stay focused. Stay focused. What are you writing? Because sometimes people come and try to change. Oh, man, you know what you ought to do? You ought to write this book about, but that's not what's in your heart. You know what? That character that is a good character, but you ought to make it. That's not what's in my heart. That's not what my passion is. And so stay focused on the book that you're writing. Now, that doesn't mean don't take advice. But it has to be true to you. So I would tell you to start writing, stop making excuses, and stay true to your dream, to your passion. Yes, get advice, but I'm still staying true to my passion, to my dream, to my story.
Absolutely. So what's next for you? What do you have coming up in 2021? What you got going on? What you working on?
Working on some things. I have a workshop, an author's workshop coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's geared primarily to pastors and preachers, because
awesome.
they pastors and preachers, they have stories, they have Bible study lessons, they have sermons, and you can get those out to people. So it's a author workshop, virtual authors workshop. It's not restricted to, but it's primarily for pastors and preachers. That's on February the 13th. And we'll talk about what you write, who you write to, why you're writing, and we'll talk about content creation as well as some other things. So we'll be talking about that. Anybody interested, you can contact me at drshigg@gmail.com, drshigg@gmail.com. And working on a speaking career as what's called a motivational speaker, developing that career. I just started a new project. It's called Talking Books. And basically that's a promotional platform for primarily self-published authors, where I have a 15, 20-minute interview infomercial for your book. And then after it's finished, you have the file to post it wherever you want. So what that does, that puts you in control of your promotion. And so we've just started that recently. So we talk to authors, various genres, interview them, let them talk about their book, give them an opportunity to promote it. So if anybody's interested in that, you can contact me at drshigg@gmail.com. Once again, if you want to see some of the other ones that we've done, you can find them on my Facebook page, Your EncourageMINT, MINT, or you can go to YouTube. And also got what they would call, I guess in television, they would call a mini series of, I think it's about 5 or 6 series videos that I'm doing to help people with their marketing. It's practical marketing tips. And so we're doing that. I've got maybe 2 more to do. Some of them are already done, but just to help people with their marketing, some of the marketing lessons that I've learned, some through devastation, education, observation. And so just some simple things, like oftentimes I've seen people when they have their, when they're advertising their book, they're taking a picture of it, they hold it like this. Now, why would you cover up your name or the name of the book? So just things like that I've learned. And when they're making I learned this from being in radio, when they do their live videos, we wait and then we say things like, I'm waiting for more time to come. In radio, the deadliest thing for radio is silence.
Yep.
And so while you're waiting for more people to come in, the people that were there, they left. And when they're watching it on the replay, you've taken a minute, 30, 40 seconds with nothing there. They're not going to stay. So start talking, create an intro. So we talk about that on those. So different things like that, giving practical information on promotion. So we just recently started that. That'll be about a 5 video series, and I think 3 or 4 of them are on YouTube right now. So those are the things that we're looking to do. Those are things that we're doing, things that we're jumping out into. So that's what's next. And as I said, building a speaking career, and that's overall. And then some other things I probably need to do, take out the trash before my wife start yelling at me, and then some other things I got to do around the house. But professionally, that's personal stuff. But just doing some of those things. And as I said earlier, I've got 2 books on my computer that I've got to get out. But this one, my newest book, it just came out about 2 weeks ago. So promoting that, getting that into hands of people, encouraging them, strengthening them, and those are the things that are coming up right now that we're dealing with, that people can look for. So that's what's happening right now.
And that's great. That's great. I mean, for those that are, I guess, podcasters or have radio, there's nothing worse than dead space. You definitely need to ensure, and that's one of the things that I never understood. When people do the Facebook lives, or they do the YouTube lives, or
Right.
the Instagram lives, they want to sit and wait to get enough followers in there. I'm like, don't you understand that you have people that are already in there already that are waiting? So let the other people, they can catch up. They should have got their own time, or they should have come in to be, when I guess when they got the notification and everything like that, or they can watch the replay.
They can watch the replay
Right.
because it's going to be there, and
Right.
more people are probably going to watch the replay than watch it live anyway.
Right.
And so, why are you doing that? Because you're waiting for some more people to come, and I'm the one watching. So you say to me, well, you're watching, but you're not important. I'm going to wait for some more people. Okay, I'll go scroll down and look at something else.
Right.
And unless it's your mother, your sister, your brother, they're not coming back.
Absolutely.
So you lost 3 people waiting for somebody that might not show up.
Show up, exactly. Okay. Absolutely. So one more time, I know you gave it out, but I want you to give out your contact information, how people can contact with you, where people can go to purchase the book, where they can purchase the other books that you have, and even the other products, and to have you come and speak too. Exactly. How can they connect with you?
You can connect. You can follow me on Instagram at EncourageMan, the letter EncourageMan. YouTube, Dwayne Shigg, YouTube, or EncourageMINT, Facebook, Your EncourageMINT, MINT. To contact me, you can reach me at my email address, drshigg@gmail.com. That's DR, Sam, Harold, Ida, George, @gmail.com. Don't put an S on my last name. And don't forget the R, because if you put D Shigg, it's going to go to my sister-in-law, and I'm not going to get it. If you put D Shiggs on it, I'm not going to respond, because that's not my name. That's just an inside joke. Me and my cousin Simeon, he just wrote a book called Manners from the Moon. It's a great children's book. So check that out. It's a great children's book, Manners from the Moon. But me and my cousin Simeon, we joke about that. And so you can get my books at Amazon.com. You can go to Amazon.com. And if you can't remember the name of the book, you can just put my name, Dwayne Shigg. And when you go to Amazon.com, there's no other Dwayne Shigg on there but me. And so if you can't even remember my first name, just put Shigg in, Shigg. And as it relates to authors, you're not going to get confused. There's only 3 authors on there with that name, me, my brother, and my cousin. And so you can even buy some of their stuff. So you can find my books on Amazon.com. To contact me, drshigg@gmail.com. And you can reach me those ways.
Now, what's the date of that event that you talked about for pastors and authors? When is that?
That's February the 13th.
Okay.
February the 13th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so, yeah, February 13th. And again, if anybody wants some information, you can hit me at my email address, and I can send you the flyer with all the information, or you can just go to Your EncourageMINT. It's not up there now, but it'll probably be up there later on. But again, you can just contact me at drshigg@gmail.com. That's February the 13th. We have 2 hours pouring into pastors and preachers. Again, it's not exclusive for them. It's primarily for them. But if you want to come and you want to write, and you're not a pastor or preacher, I'm not going to tell you, no, you can't come, but that would be stupid. And that's who it's geared for, because pastors and preachers, they have a lot of information already that can help people. And this is just another avenue to get it out.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna let you close out really quickly with one word or some words of encouragement for us going into 2021.
2021 is here. There's a quote from one of my books that says we have to unpack our baggage from the past so that we can prepare our luggage for the future. 2020 had all of what it had. There's no need to keep rerunning that. There's no need to keep saying, man, 2020 this happened, 2020 this happened. Well, 2020 is gone. So what are you going to make happen in 2021? What are you going to make happen? What are you going to do? If you want to go someplace, you've got to unpack that baggage from where you were so you can prepare some new luggage for where you're going. You don't want to take the baggage that you had from, when you went to Alaska, take that to a trip to Florida. You want to relax. You're going to have different things. And so the equipment that you're going to need this year is going to be different. So you're going to need some encouragement. You're going to need some focus. You're going to need some direction. You're going to need, like the Pointer Sisters, a new attitude, an attitude that says I can, An attitude that says, I will. An attitude that says, I got this. An attitude that says, I'm going to do this, write this book, lose this weight, have a better relationship. I'm going to do this. That's your attitude. And that attitude comes from reading the right books. That attitude comes from having the right conversations. That attitude comes from hanging out and hanging around the right people. I know what 2020 was, but what can 2021 be? Stay encouraged. Be blessed.
I like that. I like that. I like that. That is awesome right there. I told y'all, y'all were going to come away from this conversation being encouraged and moving forward in 2021. Like you said, 2020 is what it was.
Right.
And that's exactly it. It is what it was. But
Was.
2021, we're moving forward. And one of my mantra for 2021 is leave the familiar, elevate your influence.
Oh, yeah.
And because you can't elevate your influence staying in the familiar. You can't keep doing those same things that you were doing. And if you expect to be able to elevate who you are, if you expect to be able to elevate what you do, how you do it, and to be able to get and accomplish those things that you want to accomplish. So, Brother Shigg, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on to the Author Showcase to tell us about your motivation, your message, your movement that you have with the encouragements, especially in tough times. So hopefully this encouraged someone, this uplifted someone, and this gave someone the encouragement that they needed in order to be able to take that first step to say, I can do this, and to begin to move forward. So,
I appreciate you, Brother Leroy, for doing what you do, for giving the opportunity, for pushing the way you do. So I appreciate you. You are what I have a couple of people in my life that I call pictures of possibility, what can be done. And so I appreciate you and I thank you for that. And just want to tell the people, yes, we know times are tough, but guess what? You are too. So just keep at it and keep that message.
Absolutely. So we want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Author Showcase. It's your boy, Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. And as I said, for 2021, leave the familiar to elevate your influence. You can only elevate your influence when you choose to be more doable. And that's what we're going to do, what we're about in 2021. Because my goal, my mission is to make you better by the end of 2021. Than you were at the beginning of 2021. And that's by bringing you speakers, authors, motivators, such as Mr. Dwayne Shigg, that are going to teach you something, they're going to equip you with something, and then they're going to impact you to want to do something. You got to do it. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you all next time. Thank you very much.
Be blessed. Thank you.